With the 2023 general elections now a matter of months, and with the scaling up of politicking as a result, leaders of thought from national, economic, social, and religious groupings have been questioning the level of preparedness on the part of politicians to sacrifice in order to pull the nation back from the brink. Well, joining us now to share his perspective on this subject matter is His Eminence, John Cardinal Onaiyekan, Catholic Archbishop Emeritus of Abuja, Archdiocese. You're welcome, sir. Archbishop, good morning.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you.
Good to have you.
The Archbishop.
Yes, sir.
I am the Archbishop Emeritus, Archbishop Emeritus of Abuja.
Okay,
there is a new Archbishop now, Archbishop Kaigama. So I would just want your viewers to get the picture clear.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Archbishop Emeritus, you're welcome, sir. Good to have you with us. Archbishop, sir, it's a political season. A lot of people are talking politics. A lot of people are apprehensive, are scared. And so many people are looking, up to the worship centers, to the churches, to say that when things are bad or are looking bad, maybe it's the time to turn to the Almighty. How will you assess what is going on? And do you think that what words of advice would you have for the nation at a time that is looking like there are drums of war? We're not sure where the pendulum will swing. Is it coming to the southwest? Is it going to the southeast? Is it remaining up north? What will be your candid words of advice to Nigerians, especially those who are looking forward to the Almighty at this time, to say that, well, what is the direction? How should we proceed in the year 2022 that is so politically explosive, if you want?
Thank you very much. Let me start by saying, if there is any kind of reason to have a little bit of hope in the situation we find ourselves today, it is the fact that the vast majority of Nigerians, I think, have come to the conclusion that where we are now is not where we should be, that things are not right, and that we must change. Now, this simple assertion is very important, because if we do not agree that things are not going well, it is not going to be possible to develop the passion to change things. So we must continue to say that things are not going well. And not only that, that things can go better. It is only then that you can start bringing in church and bringing in God and all that. And in any case, as far as calling on God is concerned, you don't wait until things go bad before you call on God. We call on God all the time. In fact, even more when things are going well. Those of us who believe in God know that He is the source of all that is good. And if any politician is to behave well, he must be somebody who trusts in God and decides to do things that are in line with God's directives. And in this situation, God and humanity is all the same thing. Because the important thing in any nation is that the people are well served. And God Himself has created us human beings with dignity, with rights, and also with duties. And so, if politics does not take care of the people and take care of them well, it is hypocrisy to be calling on God or even asking people like me to please pray. How can you tell me to pray when you are doing exactly the wrong thing? You must do the right thing first. Then I can pray, and God will sustain your good work. Now, we are now at 2022, looking forward to 2023. I have my anxieties. The anxiety I have is that it seems that the political class are moving around trying to see how they can continue the same game. They can continue the same, they can work the same way the same game, maybe one group wanting to defeat the other, but the name of the game is the same. Can we change the rule of the game? Can we change the concept of political power? And here, if I have more time, I can even more expatiate. To put it briefly, right now, political power is being seen by most people as the opportunity to be powerful, to be also with power comes wealth and control. But that is not the meaning of political power. We must move from that to political power as readiness to serve with sacrifice for the good of the people to the greater glory of God. If we can move from move in this way to this new concept, to this concept of power, then a lot of issues that we are now grappling with in Nigeria will have a possibility of solution. I'm glad that at your introduction, you did mention the word sacrifice. Who wants to sacrifice in Nigeria? The only people sacrificing now are the poor people who are at the receiving end of whatever policies and governance and misgovernance to which they are being subjected. Now, whether 2023 will bring something new will depend on whether the final match of this game is going to be between people who are good, who are honest, who have the spirit of sacrifice, or whether we shall be faced with the same group of people to choose from them, and whether you like them or not, that is the people we have to choose from. And we have no hand. We don't even have a say in who are those going to be our candidates. We have to wait for the small group of politicians. We should remember, these politicians who are deciding all this, they are a small group. They are not even up to 5% of Nigerians. Now, of course, all of us cannot be in active politics, but the 5% who are in it ought to know that if they don't do things right, the rest of everybody is going to pay for it.
Understood.
This is more like a general discussion, which means for me, it doesn't really, I don't know who is going to win the election, nor do I care who wins the election, because it's not a matter of personality or the political parties. It's about, will the country be better? Will the new government be one that will listen to the cries of the people? Will the new government look at the poor people, those who are suffering? Will the new government rule with fear of God? I mean, fear of God in the right sense of the word. If that happens, then we can thank God that the country is on the way to revival and even to prosperity.
I mean, there's no doubt Nigeria is a multi-faith country. All the same, it is considered to be a secular one in terms of governance and religion, but there does seem to be a crossover between the religions that we have in this country, Christianity, of course, being one of them, and the way in which things are run at the state or federal level. One thing I want to put to you is the population problem in Nigeria. It's a huge one, and we know that just this week, bills have been passed, policies have been passed, rather, about how to effectively manage the population. And we know sometimes conversations about family planning and the Catholic Church don't always go hand in hand. Do you think that the Catholic denomination has played a role in Nigeria's family planning issues as it stands now? Could that have a negative impact on the type of governance that we have in this country? Because there are a whole lot of people and it is very difficult to govern them. I wonder if we take a few steps back and look at the concept of contraception or whatever the case may be, what role the church plays in that.
Thank you very much, my sister. You have gone round and round and round to say something very simple. What I imagine what you are saying is you are putting it to me that the position of the Catholic Church in respect of population policies is not good for Nigeria. That's what I'm hearing you say.
Yes,
that the Catholic position, which does...
Yes,
have I got it right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I'm ready to take you on, my dear sister, on that. The problem with Nigeria is not population. We are not as many as the Indians. We are not as many as the Chinese. We are not even as many as the United States of America. Our problem is not our population. Our problem is the management of our population. Is the management of our population. If we manage our population well, then our population is an asset. Every child is born not just with a mouth to eat, but with hands to walk, and above all, with a brain to think. We should not forget that. And we keep seeing human beings as just liabilities. If you ask any ordinary family, they will tell you that they want children. Why do they want children? Because they recognize that children are an asset. Now, the question is, if you have an asset and you don't manage it well, too bad, too bad. So instead of attacking Catholic Church for our position, and I'm going to come back to that, why don't we just look at the truth of the matter where our problem is? Our problem is not that we have a large population, but that this population is being badly managed. And this is the whole point of politics. Politics is to manage people well. To come to my Catholic Church position, those who care to read and to listen to us know that we have got our position on this matter is quite clear, and it's not as black-white as many people want it to be. Our Catholic Church does not say produce as many babies as you can. It does not say that. The Catholic Church believes in responsible responsible parenthood, and insists that every child must be properly looked after. The only thing is that the Catholic Church has certain moral positions on the matter of the means. How do you go about it? One way of reducing population is to kill the children in the womb by abortion. And the Catholic Church says that is not possible. It is not right. It's just as bad as to say we better kill the poor because we are too many in this Nigeria so that we can take care of the few who are left. In that case, we should start killing the rich because they are the ones who are making us poor. So you see, it is not as simple as that. Our church has its own rules, and we are not imposing it on anybody. How many of us are Catholics, by the way, in Nigeria? Maybe if we are very generous with ourselves, we are probably 20%. So don't put the blame of the large population on us. Put it on Nigeria, and then we can talk more seriously. So as for the position of our church, I don't think it makes much sense, and we don't gain much by arguing over it, because no matter how much you argue over it, our position is clear, and we continue to take it, and those who are Catholics accept it and live by it, because we believe that there are certain rules which we have no right to change.
All right, His Eminence, let me circle back a bit to the political space, and I would like to ask, how much of assurance do you think that Nigerians should have when men or men of God from the pulpit are stepping out, to be directly involved in politics? Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, for example, yes, a brilliant lawyer, an academic, a professor, but he's also a man of God. He's been there for 7 years, will spend a complete 8 years. And from what we are hearing, he's also thinking about being the #1 person with a red pen who will lead Nigeria. If we look back to 2003, Chris Okotie, at a point, stepped out, telling Nigerians that his calling to step out was from God, and that was why he declared his intention to run. If you also look at Pastor Tunde Bakare, in 2011, he ran with Buhari. Didn't win. Before 2015, when Osinbajo ran with him. But then this time around, we're hearing categorically from him that in 2019, he has not declared anything. What he has said to Nigerians is to use the symbolism of number 16 to say that he will be the next president to succeed General Buhari. I'd like to ask you, sir, from the Holy of the Holies, what can you see in terms of the symbolism of 16, especially when men from the pulpit are now stepping out, to run the affairs of men politically? Is that something that you assure Nigerians that, yes, God has a say in what we are trying to do? Or is this 16 in inverted? People are saying that maybe we didn't see 16, maybe we are seeing 19 or 61 or 91. How will you assure us that the symbolism of 16 is something that will benefit Nigerians in 2023?
You said a lot of things, and I'm not sure I can catch all of them again, but you ended up, this whole question of 16, symbolism of 16, I'm just hearing about it for the first time. I don't know what it means, and in any case, I'm not the kind of person who work on those kind of ways of looking at reality in terms of symbolisms, in terms of dreams and revelations and so on. That is not my own. That is not my own concept of religion. When you were listing out the so-called men of God who have ventured into active politics, I thought you would even mention my own late brother, Reverend Father Adazu, who actually became a governor in Benue State,
yes,
among your
right,
list,
sir.
so
That's
that
true.
you can become so that you can be comprehensive, and that will make it possible for me to make my mind clear. Now, the first thing I want to say, and with all due seriousness, is that every human being should be a man of God. Every human being is a man of God. Nobody should either arrogate to himself the fact that I am a man of God, or allow himself to be so described that you are a man of God. Because when you say that, you mean that you who are telling him you are a man of God, who are you? Whose man are you? Are you not also a man of God? So when we begin to talk in those terms, there are so many people who spend much of their time in the business of religion. So maybe they are the ones you are calling the men of God. I belong to a church where we work on the basis of the clergy being people who feel that they have been called, vocation, who have been called by God to serve the community. And because they are so busy serving the community in their religious needs, they don't have time to start running after politics or running after business. That is why in my church, and my church is not the general church, as you know. The Catholic Church is specific. There are many other people who don't. Churches have their rules in this matter. The rules in my church is that a clergyman cannot be involved in active politics in a multi-party contest. Which is why when my brother, God rest his soul, Adazu, threw in his hat and also succeeded becoming governor of Benue State, he never got the approval of the Catholic Bishops' Conference. And any Catholic priest, whoever, no matter how brilliant he is, who is nursing that same kind of idea, will never get our go-ahead, will never get our
when you do talk
support.
about candidates
But
sorry to interrupt you there. When you do talk about candidates who would be...
Let me finish.
With all... Go ahead, please.
Let me finish. Why we do not allow our clergy to go into politics? We are seriously encouraging our lay faithful, especially the very committed lay faithful, to go into politics and make a difference in the kind of politics we have around us here. Many of our lay faithful who are in politics, maybe in some other churches, would have also been carrying some titles like reverend, like elder, like whatever. But in our church, we make a clear distinction between the laity and the clergy. So it doesn't mean that we do not see the importance of God in the act of politics. In fact, Nobody should go into politics if he is not a man of God.
Understood.
Now, that means...
I want you to make sure, I want you to land on your point. I do not want to interrupt you. I hope you're finished.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying this so that this dichotomy we are drawing between men of God and the politics we should be clear in what we are talking about. It doesn't, if in the Catholic Church we say that our clergy should not go into politics, we are not saying that politics is not for people who are deeply religious. In fact, we want all our lay faithful who have the internal capability to leadership to go into politics and make sure they rule so well that Nigerians will go and say, oh, wonderful, what a good president we have. You can see he's a Catholic, no wonder. That's what we are waiting for. We say he's a Catholic, meaning he's somebody who is taking the Catholic social doctrine very seriously, who knows that politics means going there. According to our church's document says that we commend all those Catholics who, not minding their own personal interest, do make the sacrifice to enter into public office. That is the language we speak. And that when they do that, they have all our support. We give them our prayer, we who are full-time people within the church, and we ask the rest of the community, the entire church, to support them with their prayers. This is the position we have taken. You can see that does not talk about PDP or APC or any political party. It has to do only with the concept of political power, which is valid for whoever you are talking about. By the way, talking of politics and religion, Nigeria is very religious. One would expect that since religion is all about God, Nigeria should actually be even more successful from the point of view of politics that is based on listening to the voice of the Almighty God. After all, our Constitution says we are building a nation that is united under God. We keep mentioning God, and we must not mention his name, continue to mention his name in vain. He doesn't like that. If we continue mentioning his name, we should be serious about it. From my own experience, and I've been in this business, if you call it business, of leading religious people for many years, I have discovered that between Christians and Muslims, the essentials for good politics are the same. We don't disagree on that matter. Both Christians and Muslims, they agree that it is important that political leaders be honest. It is important that political leaders have a strong sense of concern for the people, a sense of service for the people, that there should be people who will be concerned for those who are in need, for the poorest in the society. This is common to all our religion. And of course, both religions should seriously insist that politics should not be filled with violence and corruption. In these matters, we agree. Therefore, if Christians or Muslims in politics are doing other things, they are not doing it because they are Christians or because they are Muslims, but simply because they are who they are. Bad people who should not be in politics.
Understood. Understood. I mean, you can't deny that there is a very vast political power you wield, or the conference wields, when it comes to endorsing a political candidate. There's huge social currency in that level of approval. Saying that, I'm sure you're also aware that there has been a huge clamoring for a president to come from the southeast of this country. When it comes to listening to that ethnic side of the equation and understanding, again, that political power you wield within this religious platform you have, how can you differentiate about what type of person you would support? Does their ethnic background play a role in that? Do you also agree that the next president should come from the southeast of the country?
All this talk of zoning coming from one side or the other, and even all this talk of asking whether he is a Christian or is a Muslim, is all a result of our sad experience of bad leadership. If our leaders had been good, whether they come from the north or south, whether they are Christian or Muslim, people will not be asking such questions. We will know that the important thing is that our president be somebody who will rule us well. Okay, because if we continue with this game of this group after that group, it will never end. In my own opinion, to think that the only way to have equity in the country is to handle political office, even at the highest level, on the basis of we after you, I do not see how that is going to carry us far. It doesn't mean then that when the South, if we say it is now the turn of the South, that means the next president, if he indeed comes from the South, he now has his job cut for him to look after the South and neglect the North. After all, now we are complaining, some of us are complaining that our present regime is biased against a particular part of the country to which he belongs, and we criticize him for that. So, which means, from my own point of view, I don't believe that the way to go is to be splitting ourselves. In fact, after all, even if you say north and south, what is north? What is south? I'm from Kaba, Kogi State. Am I in the north or am I in the south?
You're in the
because
north central.
Because the way things are, if you...
You're in the north central.
I mean, from the way things are, okay, so you must then create a zone for me too. And that will not be the end of the story. Because from the way things are going, if you zone to the south, the southerners are never going to pick somebody from Kaba. And I'm sure maybe Brahman will be out of the question. And if you say northerners, who are the northerners? Is it only the Hausa Fulanis or even the Kanuris? What about the other tribes in the north? And the debate, the struggle will continue without end. And at the end of the day, the Nigerian, is there such a thing as a Nigerian who is neither quite independent of whether he's from the north or south, whether he's Yoruba or Igbo, whether he's Christian or Muslim? It is this Nigerian who is the person we should be thinking about. If you take it quite a priori, I don't see any problem with having president coming from one particular place twice if the two of them are performing very well. If the two of them are performing very well. Mind you, I'm not saying that there are some parts of Nigeria that cannot produce a good candidate. But I'm only saying, if we make it a point that we are going to start rotating, and then you then leave room for all these issues that I am raising, which is why I am not particularly enthusiastic about this discussion. I am more interested in the persons who are presenting themselves, their pedigree, their record. Are they the kind of people who will build a nation where every Nigerian can really feel happy and not leave us with a situation that, oh, now it is our turn? That kind of way doesn't carry us too far. Therefore, if you're asking me whether I support zoning or not, I do not support zoning for the reasons given. But if you're asking me whether I will support a southern candidate, I will tell you, please let me know which candidate you are talking about. If he's a good man, I will support him.
All right, His Eminence. We're actually running out of time, but please indulge me to ask, a quick barrage of questions. First will be that, how do you think that Nigerians should prepare for the 2023 elections? What sort of a leader should they be looking at to lead them in 2023? And specifically, how do you think that the possibility of a Muslim ticket will work in Nigeria 30 years after we experimented with that when MK Abiola had a joint Muslim ticket? And then secondly, what sort of relationship do you think that the church or church men of God should have with the state. I would like to use the example of your own faith, of your own church. We have had, Reverend Father Mbaka, for example, who befriended power, but it turned out that there were, there were other reasons for him befriending power. We were talking about, looking for contracts, bringing people to government to look for this and that. How do you think that men of God should engage with power? And lastly, if you just have a word on that, there was an example in Ghana in which the Ghanaian authorities have had to say that, listen, anybody who is prophesying, don't make prophecies that will affect any other person, especially if it's about politics, and livelihood of people. These days, people have created huge businesses around who will become what every year. Even in football, they will tell you who will win, who will not win. In elections, they will tell you who ought to run, who ought not to run. What is your position and the position of the Catholic Church in matters like this? And can you canvass something for the authorities to take from the Ghana example, sir? Just those few ones. If you'd like me to remind you of the questions, I won't mind to do that, but I would like your views on all these ones.
No, you are just telling me now that you have no time. So if you have no time, how can you start repeating the questions again?
Thank you.
I will try to. Also, because you are asking what does the Catholic Church say about this, I will be very, very frank and very brief. There are issues you have raised now for which the Catholic Church has no position, really no thing to say. For example, the last point, prophecy. This prophesying thing, that's not part of our church. We believe in prophecy because prophecy is part of the Holy Scriptures. But we don't go around prophesying who will win an election, who will win a football match, who will do what. We rather seek the mind of God, the will of God, and help people to discern the will of God. That is my own concept of prophecy. Therefore, we have nothing to say about what the Ghana people are doing, which is one reason why, back to the question of Father Mbaka, I'm surprised you are using Father Mbaka as if he represents the Catholic Church. You should have realized by now that Father Mbaka is on his own in these matters of prophesying who is president, who is not. That is not our church. And he has been properly informed that this is not part of his role as a Catholic priest. We don't have a course in the seminary on prophesying of political leaders. I didn't learn that from the seminary. So, but people have their own way of doing things. So, as far as Father Mbaka and people like him are concerned, they don't represent the Catholic Church. If you want to know what the Catholic Church is saying officially, just read the communiques of the Catholic Bishops' Conference. We are going to meet very soon, and you will hear us again. Muslim ticket, this is part of the games that politicians are playing. And
Your Eminence, it pains me to have to interrupt you here, but we have run out of time. Thank you very much for joining us on the morning show.
Oh, you have run out of time. But I'm just saying, I'm worried about 2023. Worried about 2023 because the reality on ground does not give me reason to really feel that something really new is going to come out. Look, seeing what is happening in the political parties, they can't even organize their own primaries. How are they going to give us a good president in 2023?
Oh, that
we
is
pray
the
to
question.
God who has always sustained Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Your Eminence.